Nicholas, what were your ambitions in high school? So, to give some value to the listeners, and what did you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what value I can give, but I might just waste your time, to be honest.
That's why I don't want that. Listen to this one.
Fast forward, everyone.
No, I mean, my ambitions in high school. I think for me, the thing is, I always wanted to be a pilot.
Yeah.
That was actually my ambition from day one. So if you know a little bit about me, my mum, she was a flight attendant for at least all of my life, but she worked for over 30 years in an airline. So pretty much my whole life, I was flying and traveling. And through her work, I met a lot of pilots. So it kind of it was just ingrained in me that I really like aviation. I was really passionate about aviation. So I wanted to be a pilot. And then I would say year 12, I still wanted to be a pilot, but year 12 is when you really have to decide what you're going to do.
That's right. Yeah.
And some things happened where it kind of stopped me from pursuing it. Yeah. So I then started thinking, okay, well, what am I going to do now? And that's, to be honest, year 12, I had no clue what I was going to do. And even going into uni, I just started studying.
What did you study? I actually don't remember.
I studied sport and exercise science.
Oh yeah, so Latrobe, right?
Yeah. So I pretty much year 12. I think when I felt like, okay, I'm not going to pursue being a pilot. What else do I like? Oh, I like sports. Okay, maybe I'll go into sports science. And I kind of just studied it because it was Asian parents, you can't not study.
Study, that's right.
You know what I mean? You have to do something. So.
What, you want to do podcast? Get out of here. No.
Yeah, so I felt I don't know, the uni was cool, but to be honest, when I look back, it was kind of a bit of a waste for me. I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. And even now, I still, I kind of building out a career in what I'm doing now, but not gonna lie, I still think about, what if I pursued being a pilot, or would I still go back to pursue being a pilot?
What are you doing now, by the way?
Well, so I work in finance. I think to keep it simple, finance is it's really broad, but
you're the Mowbray guy.
Yeah. Working in it was me all along. Working in banking and finance, it's a bit of a rabbit hole to go down. So.
And so when you put your preferences as sports science, and then you studied it, did you finish?
I finished it. Okay. I had to finish what I started because I had to have something to show for it to my mom. But man, I'll tell you, I think, back in year 12 when before you get your ATAR, you put in your preferences.
Yeah.
Man, I remember I was actually thinking about it. I remember my preferences. I think I put science down.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, okay, not aviation, but let me go down a science path. I don't mind science. So I put down science, and I put down science at Melbourne Uni.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I remember,
be realistic, bro.
So I put down Melbourne Uni science. I remember when I got my ATAR, it was first thing I did.
Big uni science.
Yeah.
Putting everything, but
maybe not Melbourne Uni.
TAFE uni science.
Yeah. So, yeah, I had to kind of change what I was gonna do. I had to pivot a bit.
Yeah. I think your expectations in year 12. For everyone, I think I could speak for that it's totally different to what actually happens. But what I would say is I'm not trying to be that guy, but it's crazy to see your progress, because I knew that we both knew that you wanted to do to study aviation, but to see where you are now, it's awesome, man, because it's a progress. And who knows if you could actually go back into it as well.
Yeah.
I think that's the value that I want to let the listeners see, that even though if you don't kind of get what you want, because that's why it's a fresh graduate program. I mean, fresh graduate podcast. Sign up down below. No, that it's still works out, right? You don't need to stress out even if it doesn't go the way that you want to.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, you're a really lucky person, or you're really blessed if you can know what you want to do, or even if there's something you're passionate about, and then you get to work in that field. And for me, I was passionate about aviation. While I was studying, I worked in jobs in aviation, and So I thought I would stay in aviation, but yeah, I mean, you can grow in other areas. I think
Yeah.
you can. I mean, I can still be passionate about aviation without actually flying a plane.
So you said you'd consider going back. What would make you go back?
Oh, I think, um, it's kind of like if the timing was right. It becomes complicated once you start to get older, I think.
Yeah.
More responsibility, you know, when you start building a house or you're married. And then I think the real cutoff would be, if I'm having kids,
Yeah.
because at that point I have to be.
You have to focus on that.
You really got to put your all in for your children when that time happens. So it would kind of, I feel like if I was going to go back, it would be, you know, when I'm around this time, when I'm like 25, 26, before things get really locked down, like I'm locked into one place. But with aviation, there's so many complications. I mean, even it would be a huge risk, I think.
To start it now.
And that's where it's interesting, because I'm somewhat comfortable in my current career.
Yeah.
But if I went to pursue being a pilot, I'd be taking a huge risk. Like I could train and study to be a pilot and spend a lot of money to do that, and then end up not even getting a job.
Not even flying or something. Yeah.
I mean, because aviation was one of the industries that got really messed up by
COVID.
By COVID.
Yeah.
So it's not even really recovered yet. So it's kind of like, if things fell into place and it was like, okay, yeah, there's a real pathway. You never know.
Yeah. That, like, there's so many aspects to aviation as well. Like, there's like engineering. Do you ever like consider all that, like that stuff?
I actually did.
Yeah.
I did, because back when I was working, there was a time I was working part-time at Qantas while I was studying.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, what are my options? Let me suss out this engineering thing.
Mm.
So I remember I went up to the engineering manager's office and I just had a chat with him. And I'm like, how can I do what you do?
Mm.
And then, he pretty much said like, oh, here's the pathway. Like, we'll do like unpaid internship for this amount of time, and then you'll go into our program, and then that was it. And then, 2 months later, COVID.
Oh.
Yeah. So I kind of threw it out the window.
Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. No, but you know what I'll say something about you. Like, when you get something, I feel like you never like give up with that. Like, you always like push through like, because for example, I know that the banking stuff gets to you sometimes, and I can see that like you always are like, oh, I need to provide for my my wife, or I need to get some money on the table. So you're always like, you have this kind of character that you're gonna push through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's a really good trait about you, man.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, I mean, you're going to sink or swim. So there's going to be challenges with any job that you do. And I guess I get fulfillment out of the challenge of work. Like, it's not always easy, and dealing with people at work and colleagues, it can be pretty challenging.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can really, I think that's the thing. I thought I would be in one place, and then I'm where I'm at now, and it's kind of like, you just build out a career,
Right.
work hard, and then things will come to you.
Yeah.
That's how it's been for me anyway. So